doesn't stop. We got out of Christmas, we go straight into Mardi Gras. And this one, if it seems like it was moving really fast, it was. It was a really short season, carnival season this year. Now we're going to go straight into St. Patrick's Day celebrations.
I've got my kilt. Yes. I am ready to go for this year. I'm marching an Irish channel.
Lord help us. Sorry, I put my little cup down. But
I'm hoping that it works out this year. I think last year we
Happy Mardi Gras and welcome back to another video. It is Lundi Gras here in the New Orleans area, which is basically the day before Fat Tuesday or Mardi Gras. So it's called Lundi Gras. I didn't make it up. Just what they call it. So, you know, I have to snort my last couple of lines of king cake. I posted a picture on the Grumpy Dad Discord yesterday on all the king cakes and stuff like that we had at our little command post that we had for a parade that we had in our area. I work in the command post, and we had king cakes coming out the wazoo, and I want to see if I can show a picture of that. But other than that, we're trying to get back into this whole thing. Life hopefully is now calming down for me. It has been very crazy the last 2 weeks with this parade Mardi Gras stuff going. I didn't do a video last Tuesday or Monday, Tuesday, whatever you want to call it. There wasn't that much changed, and life was just crazy. So in the meantime, you know, with crypto going straight, some sideways, some down, nothing really new in some of these projects and stuff, I have been keeping very busy. I've kind of jumped, you know, head first into the deep end with this Meshtastic mesh core stuff, for those of y'all who are familiar with it. And we have been building out mesh core repeaters all over the South Louisiana area, linking up New Orleans to Baton Rouge, about to hit Mississippi, to the North Shore, into the Lafayette area, if you're familiar with that. We have been busy. We probably put up 30, 40 repeaters in the last probably just 2 weeks alone. So that has been keeping up some of my time too. And again, not that I would be sitting home doing videos. So, and the cool thing about Mesh Core, Meshtastic is I don't have to worry about losing value or checking token prices. So that's what's going on with that. So before we go too far, please, you know, too deep in this, please make sure you hit the like button for me. Hit, you know, thumbs up. I appreciate it. You know, it really helps the channel out. Try to keep some kind of momentum going with this. You know, I part of me wants to do videos just so we all keep in touch with what's going on. But what am I going to do videos on? A lot of us have very sour taste in our mouth right now with DePin projects. So if I came out with a new, brand new, fresh DePin project for y'all, how many of y'all even jumping into it? Especially if it costs any kind of money. Hopefully Wingbits is going TGE soon. They got about 6 weeks left to make that happen, which will be just the end of Q1, 2026. And that's if it doesn't get moved back again. We haven't really heard much about it. You know, so we'll see. We know they're working behind the scenes with a bunch of other stuff. 4D Sky, you know, that might change our outlook on some things, but there's some DePin projects right now that if you thought they sunk low, it's gotten even lower. So we're going to go over all that. And, you know, I'm trying to figure out, for those of y'all who I haven't bored out of, you know, the video yet, I'm trying to decide how much longer do I keep going on with these videos these update type videos going over all these projects. Some of these projects, while the project itself may still be going, the mining crypto aspect of it is crap. So do I still continue make these videos an hour long, going over certain videos and stuff like that? And look, I get it. Like, some of y'all don't mind the hour-long video. You see, that's why, you know, that's why I've always put chapters into it. But the last 2 or 3 videos like this, I haven't really put chapters in it, because what YouTube makes you want to put, or makes you have so many seconds or seconds in between each chapter. Some projects I skipped over. Some projects I talked about for 5 or 10 seconds, and that was it. So I don't know, like, the projects that are basically almost dead, like, are we still going to keep discussing it? Because I know some of y'all are still in them. You know, there's several of us that are still in, you know, Natix, DIMO, Nubila. I know it's awfully quick, but we all know what's going on with that. Silencio, at least the sound part of that. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I should just keep going, like I'm doing or what. But let's get started in this so we're not an hour in this video. So Bitcoin, it's actually been going kind of sideways for almost, I guess this would be 10 days by the time you see this. It broke Grumpy's temporary line. It if y'all have been missing my lives on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you've been missing some primo alpha. Let me tell you, we talk about everything other than crypto right now. That's how boring some of this has gotten. It's gotten straight sideways. Look, it was a panic time. I'm not gonna even try to downplay that it was a panic time right here. We drew this line, but I also showed them how some of these lines just do line up. And I said, hey, when this breaks, it might continue going. I'm not a big TA guy, as you can tell. No joke. But as you can see, since about, I would say last Friday, we've kind of gone sideways. You might have started a little bit of a, you got lower highs now. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. When I tell you I go around in circles in the lives and I just talk over and over myself, I can convince myself something different every 5 minutes. It's hard to sit here and argue that there's not a bear market starting. I still argue that we haven't finished, if you call us a bull run, the cycle, whatever you want to call it. I sit here and again, I go around in circles. I've told y'all several times that I think the cycles were going to be different with this president, with everything going on with ETFs. But then some stuff matches up. The time frame matches up. And I didn't realize until the other day on my live when I did it in front of everybody. I'm like, okay, let's look. X amount of days past the last cycle, we did this, and X amount of days past this cycle. Holy smokes, what is this? And it lined up. And I'm like, that's not good. It was almost like we had this big bull run push with Bitcoin, and nothing else happened. Bitcoin fell down here. This was 60,000, 59,000. I had told you on the previous video that 2 or 3 people I was watching warned us that it was going down to 58, even if it was going to be quick and get bought back up. And it got bought back up. So if you bought down here, which I bought some alts, the usual alts, not as much as I wanted to because I'm broke as hell right now with everything going on in life. But you made a little bit of money. But the thing about this is for how much Bitcoin went up, and Bitcoin went up again, alts didn't really follow. It seems like alts want to come down with Bitcoin, but when Bitcoin recovers a little bit, alts ain't really recovering. So that's something we need to watch out. Other than maybe like the 2 or 3 that I'm really into, y'all know I'm into VET, and I bought VET in the low 0.007s. It was down at one time to 0.0066. I didn't catch it. I ain't gonna sit in a lot of you and tell you I did catch it. I caught at the low 0.007s, which was about right here. And, we were back up to 0.008. Hey, you look at what VET was. Some people say there's not that many exciting projects in VET. Maybe. I just looked at it as, when I look at the token price and the fact that the all-time highs were 20-something cents on this, if I'm buying this below a penny, that's a 20x. I'll take that chance. I'll take that chance with this other than, some other things. Solana. You had Solana down at one point, was down to $75. I told people, despite whatever's going to happen, not financial advice, but I thought that's a pretty good place to grab some at. People talking about this going back down to $15 to $20. I was praying, but I didn't get it. What else? Atom at 229. Ethereum fell down to $1,800. Cardano was down to 25 cents, 24 cents. Came back up to 30 and is now back at about 28 cents. This was over $1 a little while ago. H&T. If you say you saw this coming, you a flat out liar and you need to go to church. H&T, 82 cents, 80 cents, and doubled. It doubled. It was at 80 cents. It was below that. It was at 71 cents. So you can say it 2.5x maybe doubled, but it definitely doubled. Not that anybody was going to buy this crap, but I just thought, I thought that was kind of crazy for helium. WIF said was at 23 cents. It was down, if you even count this wick at 18 cents. Natix peak was down at 1.5 cent. I ain't gonna lie, I did buy a little bit. Not that I feel that great about peak or anything, because there's no really strong projects behind it right now. But again, I told y'all I was buying peak at 50, 60 cents. So I'm doing this strictly to get my average cost down some. And I'm slowly working at it. XRP, $1.48 was down to $1 on the dollar, or about $1.10. So, and they've had some kind of controversy going on recently. So, all right. So now we're going to get into our projects. That was plenty of time into that. And let's get into our projects and see what's going on with those. Try not to make this too long. I don't know if there's even got news for it. We're going to see what some of the price action looks like and go from there. All right, starting off. Again, listen, I've had people question me about this. And I've tried to explain this to y'all in the past. Some of y'all get it. Some of y'all don't get it. My number one project by far, and I've tried to explain to people, I have 15 to 16 different devices on Earnapp or running Earnapp. I don't know if it does anything really on the phones, but I had it loaded on my phone, at least my Android phone. But every desktop that I have some of these old desktops running like Gras and stuff on different IPs in different places. I have Earnapp running on it. All of my Wingbits DIY devices have Earnapp running on it. Basically anything that touches the internet, other than my home computer, my home supercomputer right here that I put together. If y'all follow me long enough, I spent a gazillion dollars on it. Feels like it took me 6 months to build because all the different parts I was buying for it. And my home laptop, I do not run any of those goofy projects on it. I try to keep that stuff as secure as possible. Even here at my house, where I'm not gonna say and tell you I'm not running this on a separate computer, but I peeled off a separate VLAN on this router that I have, where that is basically completely peeled away from my home network. So am I running, because somebody asked me this the other day, am I running Earnapp and Gras and Pawns and Honeygain on my home network? Yes, but it is technically not my home network if you really want to dig into the weeds about it. I'm not going to sit and go over what a VLAN is. I'm not going to sit and go over how to create a VLAN for you. But basically imagine two different networks inside your house. Yes, they use the same external IP, but it's two different VLANs. Meaning this VLAN can't talk to this VLAN, can't touch each other, and so on and so on. And that's how I'm running this. Now, and it's basically the same thing at a lot of these places that I'm running. I'm luckily I have friends with the local ISP and that service provider for a fee. And I ain't gonna tell you that they're not charging me, but a lot of places that I have fiber and internet ran to, I also have a separate VLAN that Grumpy pays for if they have space in their ONT for fiber, that they're giving me external IP and I'm paying for it. But right now I'm clearing about $100 every 2 weeks from Earnapp. But every 2 weeks, because what I do is I've been kind of cashing out, because I'm telling you, and look, I know some of y'all don't like me to talk about this, and some of y'all are going to attack me in Discords. Like, I'm so over that right now. I'm too exhausted with Mardi Gras and stuff, and I'm sick of the trolls. I used to call this the grumpy poor dad YouTube, and somebody attacked me saying, "You're not poor. You don't know what poor is." Listen, I just drove through my old neighborhood this morning, going to put up a Mastchain device. Let me tell you something. If I showed y'all right now what that neighborhood looked like, y'all wouldn't believe me. That's where I grew up at. I can tell you, I was strapped. So don't tell me what I did or didn't grow up or how we grew up. Just because this is how we living now and how my parents live now, don't mean that's how. So you don't know how I grew up, but I understand there are poorer people out there. Okay, so I took the name poor out of my YouTube channel. It ain't the grumpy poor dad no more, and it was basically just a spin or a joke on, hey, if you have kids, they always want money, they always want something, they always want to go somewhere, and they'll bleed to draw if they can. It was just a spin on that. So I don't sit there, but people still make comments about how I'm poor and all stuff like that. And I make jokes. I'm not begging y'all for money. I don't say, hey guys, I have a Venmo. Send me some Venmo money. Or hey, I got this GoFundMe. Go send this to Grump. I'm not begging y'all for money. Hey, support some of my codes. I make $1.50 per video. I have some links for Amazon and kind of stuff like that. I haven't got an Amazon gift card in 3 months. That's how much money I'm making off of YouTube and videos. So anybody who wants to sit here and talk about stupid crap and troll and everything like that, the dude that's on Discord that I can't understand how I blocked the dude, but Discord's so stupid that when I block the dude, all it is I just can't see him no more, but he can still see everything I'm typing. Like, what sense does that make? You tell me Facebook got something right and Discord don't know how to block people right? Anyway, I know I'm way off key. My point I'm just trying to make is sometimes opposite week of payday, I need a little help with something. Or 3 or 4 days before payday, I need a little help with something. I go to Earnapp. I know sometimes it takes about, depending on the weekends and the weekdays or business days, whatever you want to call it, work days, it takes about 2 or 3 days, working days, for it to hit my PayPal. And I'm cashing out about $100 a month. I mean, $100 every 2 weeks. Sometimes it's $90-something. I have like 2 or 3 stations. That's the hard part is keeping up with 15 or 18 stations and keeping them online. You do have to monitor it. It does seem like some of these devices need to be rebooted every so often, but it is what it is. But that's by far my number one project is Earnapp. If you're interested in getting into it, there's a bonus code down below in my description. Yes, it helps me out and gives me some pennies. Hey, this isn't all charity work. I could be out working overtime at work right now, making a lot more than what I'm making in YouTube. But I do it to help y'all out. Use my code, please. It's going to help you out, get you started with a couple of bonus dollars and stuff, and it helps me out a little bit. And I appreciate it. Thank you. The thing about this is Earnapp is not a crypto project. It's not a crypto project. When it says you have $95 in your little bank in 2 weeks or whatever. Now look, I'm gonna tell you right now, if y'all only put one machine on it, it's not gonna be nothing like that. If you put 2 machines on it, it's not gonna be nothing like that. So don't expect grumpy style money unless somehow you can set that up like that. And look, it's not even on my work network. Because my work network, we have it so firewalled and locked down. We can't run projects we can't run, things on our computer that we need to be running because it's so locked down. So before anybody starts thinking about something stupid like that, let's keep going, man. Geodnet is still my number one project. I think it's been about 11 weeks now. The price actually, I haven't updated this in 2 weeks, is exactly the same. So came up a little bit, down a little bit, but we are making about $1.46 per day with Geodnet, making 12 Geodnet per day. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I've been busy. I have not kept up with the whole move to Solana thing because you could start moving your stuff to Solana, but if I have one device that I am splitting with a host. The splitting stuff was still on the old Polygon network, which made no sense. You couldn't move that to Solana yet. I don't know if they fixed it or not yet. I haven't had a chance to mess with it. One thing I have noticed is that in some announcements for Geodnet, they are posting kind of where they need some stations at, some station hosts. So basically, if I read this right, if they're looking for station hosts, meaning they're willing to work a deal out with you for a station. That's how I take this. They're not telling you to put a station in these hot areas. They're basically saying they're looking for station hosts. So I know you can't read it in my area or with my head right here, but this is Anniston, Alabama, Palestine, Texas, and Morehead City, North Carolina. So you got Kentucky, Virginia, Rolla, Missouri, and Stillwater, Oklahoma. So it's pretty cool that they're looking for stuff like that. If you're in those areas, reach out to them. You never know what kind of deal they're gonna make you. Don't know. But that's the two announcements that we've seen from Geodnet. Here's the updates. GeoMeasure app update is live. New version brings smoother field workflows and better stability. GeoMeasure app update. Precise positioning devices for robots. They'll deploy satellite reference stations, earn passive crypto and stuff like that. So if any of y'all are interested in any of this stuff, again, I think this is on the working side of Geodnet. I'll make sure I clarify that because I know some of y'all see new objects, new devices coming out for some of these like projects like Geodnet, and you think, oh, I'm gonna make some crypto, kind of like the Pulse. No, it's not really made for that. So this is going to be using the Geodnet service. So if any of y'all are into total stations or some type of measuring devices, engineering, anything like that, surveying, you might want to look into it. All right, so moving on. And look, back in the day, these two used to roll side by side all the time. And, eventually they split up and kind of made their own rewards. But coming in number 2 now, there's a difference. I mean, you got Geodnet making almost $1.50 a day. And then now you have Onocoy. Onocoy was in 4th place and is now moved up to 2. And Onocoy, they've had actually one of the few projects that had some price stability or even a price increase. But look, it wasn't by much. We were in the low ones before. Now we at 0.17, so we've come up a little bit. But I guess when you're looking at 31 tokens a day, the little bit does help. So that's Onocoy. So, that little bit helps a little bit. Let's keep going. So looking at their Discord, they've got a big announcement also. They just signed a new client. And this is not their first client. We've covered before several clients that Onocoy has had. And look, each one of these clients is now a paying client, which helps support the project and in the end, it helps support us. At least that's how it's supposed to work. So momentum is real. They officially signed a tier 1 partner headquartered in North America, brings active enterprise roster to onboard continuously major clients. New deals, global data, starting with 1,000 stations immediately. Existing deals or previous clients also ramping up the usage, revenue stacking up, seeing January growth. Supply shock, which is a good problem. You want to buy more data, which you hope will then ends up burning and using tokens, which is a good deal. So, since approximately 10 a.m. Friday 6th, the cycle slip quality factor across the stations on Onocoy's network has been behaving abnormally. So that's some issues. They're aware of it. Current stuff, whatever. Huge news. Onocoy, we've officially been nominated for Startup of the Year, Global Startup Awards. This is a massive milestone. You can go vote here if you want. Norway is an official Onocoy HVA zone. So Onocoy's got a lot of stuff going on. And this is all good thing, all positive. Well, I guess the little server issue might not be. But, so this is all. So Denmark has also become an official Onocoy HVA zone. After Norway went live as an HVA due to massive client demand, Denmark is now following for the same reason. Real users need high precision coverage there. So maybe this is why you've been seeing a little bit of an increase in their token. Hey, you hope this all works out to more income coming in, more data usage, burning, or liquidity going into the token, whatever you want to call it, that is going to help this token become stable, which it has been kind of stable lately, but it's on the good end compared to the way these other projects are that are continuously going down since my last video. And this one and one that we just talked about, H&T, that nobody saw that coming. You say you saw that coming, and then you had one more other one that actually had a decent increase. Other than those three, you really haven't seen much. So I'm very good for Onocoy. People question it. How are they going to be? Will they always be runner up to Geodnet or whatever like that? Could they even compete with Geodnet? This is telling you that they are competing with Geodnet and can be on the same stage with them. So congratulations to Onocoy. Again, I am in both projects. I have 2 Geodnet stations, 1 Onocoy station. So I, good job to both these guys. All right, moving on. In third place is going to be CHIRP. Now, CHIRP has seen a price decrease, and they're down to 44 cents per day. These were the big wigs at one time. Look, I had a lot of hope for CHIRP. I thought CHIRP was going to do what Helium, fix what Helium did wrong type of thing. I don't know. Like you look at what they're doing, and they have things going on in the back end. They recently did a change log. We're going to go over some of that, but I just thought CHIRP would be doing, I'm wondering if some of the issues with CHIRP are, I know I bring this up every time, but issues with stations. If something's changed in the last week or two, I apologize, but the last time I really dug into it, they were not issuing any more stations out, selling any more stations out. I don't understand that logic when you're supposed to be an IoT project and you don't have a lot of stations out right now. Is it that they're afraid that rewards are going to go down and people are going to get pissed? I just don't know how do you become a player in the IoT network game when you don't have stations that are being doled out? It's just, I just kind of wonder about that. To make room for new revenue driving IoT features that will expand the network, we're doing major platform refactor. IoT is the backbone of DePin, rolling out impactful new capabilities to grow it. We organize the product of all DePin components. If you're wondering where the crypto-related pieces went, nothing is gone. They were previously scattered all over the place. Now everything DePin mining wallet cage sits in a single DePin station thing on the left. See DePin right here? So I have not really looked at this at all. I'm going to tell y'all, I get in my vehicle. Sometimes I start cage, sometimes I don't. I find that the cage app does not keep running at all. Every time I go back and check it, it's quit scanning for some reason. I don't buy any of the boosters anymore because in my area between New Orleans and Baton Rouge, I'm talking about even when I was in New Orleans or Baton Rouge, I rarely ever saw a thing, whatever the hell it is you're supposed to capture, Pokemon or whatever it is, DePin Pokemon. So like I said, I run it just to get a little bit extra CHIRP tokens, but at what the CHIRP price is right now, 0.006, I don't really think it's making that much difference. And look, this project is supposed to be about the IoT side. And I'm hoping I see that really take off and expand at some point. Changelog 221 is out now. You can go and look at this. I didn't really do a deep dive in this, but we're going to go over it real quick. You can click on a link. It's going to bring you to flight log. And it's going to tell you, all the different ones. You can read 221. So some major changes. They introduced a 6-month penalty-free withdrawal window. Where's the catch? So instead of, people complaining about how some of their CHIRP was all locked up and they couldn't get it out without a penalty when they got rewarded, they're saying, hey, guys, take it now. It's kind of like you're afraid to stick your hand in the basket to grab whatever they're offering because you're afraid something's going to grab it. I don't know. I don't know. Like, your price is tanking. What's the deal? What's the dealio? Added notifications about upcoming 30% base staking rewards decrease effective. The enhanced intro text clarity for reward calculating mechanism. Some important dates. Rewards continue to accrue continuously. Require manual claiming. Card linking. User can now connect their bank card through Stripe. So creating the DePin section. But you can go more into deep in this. I'm not going to sit and read all this. If you want to read about some of the improvements on CHIRP. So over the last week, you're down 7%, which is not bad at all for a week. You had 0.006 last week. You're at 0.006 now. You did even fall down to the 0.0055 range, and you recovered from that somewhat. So now for the month, you're down for 4 weeks. You're down 64%. That's a hit. This was at a little over a penny, almost 2 pennies, and now you're almost at half a penny. So this is one of the ones I'm talking about where some of these took more of a price hit than some of these other DePin projects. CHIRP took a price hit, which is sad because, we have really came down hard. We were at 6 cents, went up to 13, 14, 15, almost 15 cents, and we're down to 0.00, about almost to a half cent. So, hey, hopefully CHIRP can pull this through. Maybe that's why they're not. This is just Grumpy saying this. I'm not speaking for them. Maybe that's why they're not selling devices, because they know that who's buying a device making 0.006 a day when you're going and you're making 44 cents a day. What did the device cost before? $800. I don't even want to even do the math on this. But let's tell you what. Let's just say, price comes up a little bit and you're making 50 cents a day. At 50 cents a day, you're still looking at $400. I mean, 400. No. You're looking at 1,600 days. 1,600 days, you divide it by 365 days, unless there's a leap year in between there, and you're looking at a little over 4 years. If you're worried about ROI, some people argue about ROI, break even point, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if there's any halvings or anything with CHIRP. If there is a halving, God bless, because it's going to be even worse. It's going to be a fork in the road type situation. Kind of like what I'm worried about with Geodnet. I didn't really go over that because I hit that all the time. We talk about them in the lives. Geodnet's got a halving coming up in less than 3.5 months. Your rewards there are going to go down to 72 cents, which is going to be bad. You got to buy a station for over $600. CHIRP's at that point right now. 1,600 days just to break even. Now, again, we could go to the super alt season, and it could go up, and then it won't take as long. You're right. You got to do the math yourself. Do what's right for you, what's financially responsible for you. All right, so moving on. In fourth place is ROVR. ROVR, it doesn't really get those big price shocks like some of these other projects do. And when you look at it, we were at 5 cents a week ago. Technically still at, 0.005 cents, half a cent a week ago, half a cent now. And even when you go into like a month, you're down 30%, which is 0.007 cents and now 0.005 cents. Now, as far as the announcements go with ROVR, they have a video that they have released about breaking down ROVR staking from mechanics to the incentives, real world contribution. Welcome to participate in ROVR for long term. So, if you want to take a look at this, you can. Does he have one of those big, gigantic? Yeah, it is. The Darth Vader helmet. I bet he picks up women all day. But anyway. If you're interested in ROVR, I've always said they had some very good staking terms because they will give you one of these light cone things if you stake enough, which is a great deal because when you're done using that light cone thing after a year, you get your staking back. So it's almost like a zero cost incentive, and you're making very good rewards with that light cone. So check the video out if you're interested, and that's ROVR. All right, moving on next. What's next? Number 5 is going to be ENTROPY. 22 cents a day. Price is at 0.00012. So we still kind of have that same price drop. Tokens increased a little bit. We're averaging about 18,750 a day, which is equal to about 22 cents. And that's if you have one of the 1.3 whale NFTs. looking at the chart, I kind of zoomed out so you can kind of see their peak was back last July, August, and it's been just a steadily decline, even before they had the big crypto crash and stuff. Hey, that writing was on the wall. It was beaten to our head over and over that this is nothing, that, you know, you basically are going to mine, hodl, entropy, and that's it. So I don't know what else I'm supposed to say about this one. Only announcement they've really had is they've coming out with a mixtape. You can't make this up. Hey, you know, if I have to spin it positive, one of the positives that I will spin is that they're still involved in the project. They might be doing goofy stuff like this. You know, other than this will get the name out, name recognition out somewhat, possibly. They really, I don't know how much some might argue it's helping the project. Some might argue it's not helping the project. I don't really think it's helping that much because let's be honest, it's all about the price tag. You know, I have 1 out of my 7 devices that is not mining right now. It keeps saying 0 entropy for the week, and I'm not going through 7 devices behind me to figure out which one it is. Actually, fun fact is since I didn't do a video last week, I'm in this routine that when I'm going through all my numbers before I start my video, I will go and pull all my entropy devices, claim it all. Because anything after 7 days, you start burning it. But since I didn't do a video last week, I didn't even bother pulling it. So I burned out of 6 working devices. I burned all the entropy for the last week. I mean, I missed out on 22 cents a day, $1.40. God bless. I don't know what's going to happen to this project. I mean, they're active. Don't take that the wrong way. And these guys are, you know, they're cool. I get it. I just don't know what's going to happen. At one point, they had 250,000, which was $250,000 in liquidity, down to 50,000. You know, I've supported these guys, supported their devices and stuff, but you know, people try to warn me. I didn't think you were going to see this kind of price drop. I don't know. I don't want to keep repeating myself. It is disappointing. I'm not going to sit and tell you it ain't disappointing. Trust me. For somebody I had thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in one entropy wallet to what it's worth right now, when I just checked it, is depressing. And I'm going to need to go get a drink when I'm done with this video. Moving on. Next, for in 6th place is going to be 375 AI. This is your surprise of the week. 375 had a huge boost in its last epoch. I haven't did a video since the last epoch, even though the next one is ending soon. But probably by the time you see this video, I mean, we had a gigantic price token release compared to the past ones. You know, before this, I was getting the previous epochs. I was getting 16 tokens, 19 tokens, or 23 tokens, or something like that. I got 80 in the last drop, and I didn't drive no more than I normally drive. No long trips or anything like that. Hunting season's over, so I'm not driving to the hunt at least 2 hours away. And 80 tokens. By the time you cut that out, you know, that is about 8.5 cents a day, which is still in 6th place compared to our projects. So congratulations to them. Price drop, you haven't really seen anything. I mean, too much. It was at 2 cents last week. It's at 1.5 cents this week. So you've had a little bit of a price decrease. Nothing too outrageous. For the month, you've had 44%, which the percentage does hurt. I mean, I'm not gonna say and try to spin this that it's not. It was almost at 3 cents a week ago. It's at 1.5 cents now, penny and a half now. So that does hurt a little bit. And there's no really any news from the Discord or anything like that. So that's even 375 hours. We'll see what these next reward brings in. The epoch is ending today, so you know, we'll see what happens with it from there. Moving on, number 7 is going to be DIMO. Kind of shows you how bad the rest of them are, doesn't it? DIMO is number 8. So DIMO is down to 1 penny, and actually for a little while it was lower than that. For the month, DIMO is still 1 penny. It is down 14%, which is really not that bad. For how bad, it did dip again below 1 penny, because I remember people talking about it in my Discord. If you're not on my Discord, you need to be in my Discord. People thought, how the mighty have fallen. This is kind of like almost to the level like a helium was. That was a big fall from grace. DIMO is kind of like that second generation DePin, I call it. This and Honey Gain and all these other ones, Hive Mapper, I mean. And to see it fall this much, compared to what it was, just a year ago, you're down 87%. It was down, 10 cents. And it was at 50 cents, 55 cents at one point. You're down a penny now. This is kind of like helium. I don't see it ever recover. But let's just be honest. I don't see it recovering at all. There's no announcement from DIMO or anything like that. Moving on, it's going to be Weather XM. Weather XM, we're making 5 cents a day. In my lives, again, Tuesday and Thursdays, I've been lives. I have been touting how proud I am of my Weather XM machine that's been hanging in there, showing me the weather through the freezing temperatures. It is now back to 75, 80 degrees. And what happens? My station's now offline. Can't make it up. I haven't changed the troubleshooter yet. I'm making 5 cents a day. God bless me. It's been down 3 days. Oh, hell, what the hell am I going to do without 15 cents in my pocket? It's, you hate to make fun of it, but we're sitting here splitting hairs over projects making 40 cents a day, 20 cents a day. Like, are we losing our minds? Like, I don't know. That's what I just want to say sometimes. So some big news from WeatherXM is they do have stations again. They had this last year. Stations at the Winter Olympics. I guess congratulations to them. I don't know how that works. Following tradition, WeatherXM stations are deployed across every outdoor Winter Olympics venue, just like they did for the Paris Games. 10 stations deployed, real-time conditions, hyper-local forecasts, access for team and builders, and you can go and see some of the stations. So WIP 0014 is coming. Can't wait. So it's QOD, weighting, and linear SPV multiplier. You're trying to incentivize proper station installation, photo verification, rewards, base reward times QXD, SPV multiplier. Stations without photos receive a 0.05 multiplier on this component. Perfect. Deployments get 1-0. So I guess if I'm getting 2.18 per day, I'm going to start getting 4.26 a day for my station that I have photos of. One station I don't have photos of. It is what it is. How to participate. That you can go vote. Reminder to go vote. And it's already passed. So they voted for 3 days. Because everybody's always watching Discord. On a project that's just almost this dead, like, because everybody's always in the Discord. Whatever. Make sure so if you have WeatherXM, make sure you do photo verification. I'm not going to climb on top of a roof with the ladder that is on this roof where my original station's at. It ain't worth it. Not for, so instead of 5 cents a day, I'm making 10 cents a day. All right, so moving on. Next is going to be Silencio. I don't even know when the last time I pulled raffle tickets. The raffle tickets thing is with the voice. With the sound pollution. I'm not taking measurements anymore. I'm not messing with this anymore as far as that's concerned. I've told you this before many, many times. I think Silencio is 2 different projects now. Whether or not they even still mess with this noise pollution thing and measure the decibels in the area, I don't even know, how important it is to them anymore. They are really concentrating on their voice AI thing where they want you to read to the website and you make cash from it, which I think is crazy. The fact that they're a crypto project, but yet they're paying you in USDC and not Silencio. But in fact, though, one of the announcements, they have made a pause on Silencio withdrawals. The SLC withdrawals, they've had a couple of reports regarding potential unauthorized access to non-staked SLC balances held in the app. Out of abundance of caution, they're temporarily suspending it. No need for alarm. Precautionary measure. Deposits remain fully operational. We'll provide further updates. So we'll see what happens. That's I don't know. I don't know if this is part of something on the Peak network side. If this is somehow people realize that they lost Silencio tokens in their balances. I don't know. I haven't even looked at mine. So we'll see. I might have to check that. But I think I actually sold a good amount of my Silencio. I don't know. So another thing is that Silencio is actually up 11% for the week. Imagine that. And imagine the fact that nobody could sell. So on the 14th is when they made an announcement they were locking down that you can't pull anything out. And here you go, that the token started going up some. I mean, it's 0.000073. But I guess any positive price action is a positive thing, right? All right, moving on. Last place, well, so far is going to be Natix. Again, I'm sorry I sound like a broken record, but I don't know what's going on in Natix because one they talk about they're not worried about the camera side of it. They're going to be working on something else in the project, and then now they're back, I don't know. Currently making, when you do the math on what I got for the January, basically I got $1.12, which ends up being about 3 cents per day at current pricing. There's no really announcements as far as the project. They got some kind of thing about why physical AI is so important. That has nothing to do with the project. So Natix is up 23% for the week, which is a positive thing. So congratulations to them. And hopefully they keep this trend continue. You can see there must have been some kind of buy or something that happened. Maybe that AI, data selling thing. I don't know. But hey, that's pretty good. It went from 4 zeros in a 9 to 0.00011. So hey, that's a positive, with a positive direction, up 23% for the week, and we'll take it. That's Natix. And next is Nubila. I don't even know how to even trust this one. This is going to shit in the handbasket. That's about me putting it as PG as possible. We're making, congratulations, 1 penny per day. 1 penny a day with Nubila. It is, as my old saying goes, a blind man looking at a map for directions. There's nothing but complaints online, despite what Nubila has claimed in some places that things are fixed. Reading just a couple of these messages, it's nothing fixed. People still having problems with Marcos. I know on my dashboard, my Marco is not showing up, but I know I'm in the correct dashboard because my node now shows up again. This is a cluster F, if you get my drift. I don't know how else to put this, but it's a cluster F. Token price. Hey, people ain't getting rewards, so there's nothing. It's hard to drop a token and sell a token that you can't get a hold of to sell because we're not getting rewarded for our Marcos or anything like that. But hey, it's down 13% with a week in the week. 0.001 to 0.00088, and that sucks. You look at what it is for just a month alone, we're down 63% for the month, 0.002 cents down to 0.008. And it's just been a complete crapshoot since then. Reading through the announcements, I don't even want to even show the announcements, but the team's probably so tired and exhausted fixing the VE rewards or something like that. Nothing about the project itself, the weather side of the project, what's going on with it, what they're fixing, or anything like that. A lot of people have given up on this project. One guy shared this about the insights about informed selling. Smart money traders have realized profits, selling 54,000 and exiting positions, while KOLs also show profit taking behavior. I'm gonna tell you now, like I don't know anybody who's really taking profit from this. I haven't even received my Nubila to be able to sell Nubila. So I don't know where this is coming up from, but I don't know. This whole project is a shit show. I don't know how to put it more PG than that. Moving on, next is going to be helium. Helium. Nobody had this on their bingo cards. If they say they did, they lie. But in a week, helium has come back up 62.5%. They were down to even at 87 cents, but even down lower than that to 80 cents. 80 cents, and came back up to $1.40. At one point, we're up to $1.55, which is almost double its price. Hopefully they can somehow keep this momentum going. I don't know where it's coming from. There's no crazy announcements or anything like that. Don't know. I don't know if people, they got their yearly annual check-in from their customers for their data or something like that, and they bought some helium with it. I don't know. But hey, I'd love to see it go back to $5 or, even $10 a piece. And I would sell my whole bag. I think it's wishful thinking. I could see $5 maybe in a very hard bull run, very hard all season. If it would continue this momentum, I don't know if he can keep this momentum. It doesn't have the same things in place that caused it to go up to $40 at one time. You don't have people buying 900,000 plus stations and all that fees and licensing fees and stuff going into the token. You don't have all that no more. You'll never have it again. That's why I could never see it going back up to any kind of crazy levels. But that is helium, making 3 cents a day. So really, I should have flipped these around. But anyway, Gras is on to another epoch. No talk at all about, unless you want to hear X rumors or Discord rumors. Again, a project that is just like taking double guns, put them in both feet, and just constantly shooting itself in the foot. And I'll say the same thing I say every time. There's no reason it should take any crypto project 18 months almost to reward its contributors. And you have supposed to be over 2 million people now who are mining this. That's 2 million more than you had last time, approximately. I think rewards are going to be horrible on this. And I think they know that. But that's just me thinking a lot, which 50-50 chance some of that comes true. All right, it's getting late. I'm trying to wrap this up quickly. Wingbits, look, still my number one project that I have majority of my DePin crypto effort into. Let's call it like that. It's been kind of stale because I'm not putting DIY stations out. I'm not buying more other stations of the high fix stations out. I am patiently waiting to test their new device, whatever the hell that is. I just know that I was contacted about, hey, will you like to test out a device for us? Sure. They wanted an honest review. I'm waiting for it to come in. I updated my shipping. I'm sure there was some kind of shortage of parts or something like that they were talking about. I know RAM and hard drive, all that stuff right now is driving people crazy. So we'll see. There were a number of changes. There's no really big updates, but there's a number of changes in the latest changelog. I have shared this also to the Grumpy Dad Discord in the Wingbits section. You can go and check all this out. There's been a lot of stuff that has happened. Hey, TGE might not have happened yet, but there are a lot of things going on behind the scenes that has happened. Instead of me having to read all this out again, I'm sorry, it's 1 a.m. right now. But you can go and read this. They had a recent update before that where they talked about the near misses and stuff like that, which is a pretty cool thing. If you haven't checked that out, go to the Wingbits near misses website and you can actually see that. But that's actually a pretty cool thing. But go to changelog, check out everything they're doing. You can do partial claims or testing partial claims, or you can see it or something like that. Again, I haven't messed with any of this stuff. I haven't been in my dashboard to make sure my stations are online. I got like 2 offline right now. trying to figure out. But hey, that is what it is. So check all this out. Go to Wingbits' website and check it out, and go on from there. 4D Sky. So I know when it was in the last video, but I've been messing with it on my dashboard. Make sure you go into the new 4D Sky app, because if you're not going into your correct email, it will actually allow you to enter with a new email. You know me, I have like literally 7 to 8 different emails. Sometimes I use the grumpy dad at Gmail. Sometimes I use my original Gmail, and then I always forget which one I've used. It allowed me to sign in with my original email that I use on some things, and basically just didn't have an issue, even though my rewards weren't there and stuff like that. Almost like I started a new account. Once I figured that out, I went back to the Grumpy Dad 56 at Gmail web email, and sure enough, all my stuff's there. Make sure you can get into this new dashboard, this new Explorer. It is app.4dsky.com, and you can check that out. Other than that, there's not really any up to date stuff going on. I'm sure they got a lot of stuff going on in the background. You don't really hear that much about this right now, because a lot of these stations have been sold. They're still going on Helium Deploy, which Helium Deploy is up to batch 7 now. So you're looking at it delivering around May 18th. There are 41 remaining of, I'm sorry, this says batch 8 is what's being sold now. So showed you what's at another page. But anyway, so yeah, batch 8, if you're interested in this, $985 for just a standard antenna. If you want the bonus antenna, so you can be eligible for bonus points whenever that is activated, you can click on a bonus antenna. That's going to be $1,130. I have a link below for Helium Deploy. It's supposed to give you a little bit of a discount. At one point, because these were so new, they weren't giving a discount. Hey, you can try it. You can go to, when you go check out, it asks for a code. You put the Grumpy Dad 56 in it and see if it gives you a discount or not. Good luck. May the odds be in your favor. Moving on, the next one's going to be Mastchain. Mastchain is another project that recently went to version 2. If you're in Mastchain, make sure that you are going online to get and checking out that new version of it, which is strictly a beta. So I'm guessing originally we were in an alpha, you would say. But you have new stuff. But either way, make sure you can sign in and you get into your correct account. And look, this is not the only one. The next project also has where they're going to a new version, and make sure you can sign in and do all the stuff you can do. I currently have 2 stations going on with Mastchain. Look, I'm so busy right now. I don't know if I'm coming or going. I say I'm going to add a third one, but I'll be dead honest with y'all. Partially part of it is I don't have money for another VHF antenna. I got too much money I'm putting out with all these other with all kinds of other stuff I'm doing. Y'all know me. I don't half-ass it. If I'm going to buy an antenna, my second station is one I made myself. I am not happy with it at all. And I'm not going to even though I have those antennas at my office that I saved from the trash bin, because that's where they were headed. I said, no, man, don't throw those away. I can probably trim them and use them for this. They work, but they're crap. I'm not going to use a third one. That's how bad they are. But I'm not going to half-ass it. If I'm buying a marine antenna, I'm buying the good Shakespeare one that's 8 foot, and I'm doing the best I can. So you can put DIY stations online while we're still in testnet. I don't know how long testnet's going to be, but once testnet's over with, you're going to have to buy one of their stations, which we haven't really seen yet. Really out in the open. So you should start seeing that's kind of data news coming out soon. So that's Mastchain. All right, going back, I'm gonna just cover the rest of these. BrushO, there's no really new news on that. Paying to the Telegram, but I don't really see anything nothing new on that unless I missed it, but I don't see anything. CapturGO is the other one I was telling you that went recently to version 2, and you have to watch how you sign into it. It will allow you to also sign into it with the wrong email and basically just create you a new account. My number one problem I'm having with CapturGO is they got rid of background scanning. In one part, a couple of days ago in the Discord, they're like, sorry, we're trying to figure it out. And then when you go to it now, nobody's really saying anything, and you're wondering if it wasn't an accident and they really wanted to get rid of background scanning. It's supposed to be an app kind of like Waze, if you're familiar with that, where you're marking different things in the road and potholes and obstacles and stuff like that. And I guess they figure, how are you running our app doing that if it's in the background? Well, now I'm just not running your app. I went this morning, I went in all the way to New Orleans to go put two mast. I'm getting all messed up. Mesh core repeaters out, and then I went all the way to Baton Rouge to fix one, and I didn't get. When I opened up CapturGO and I checked it, it was counting hexes, but then as soon as you closed it to do something else on your phone, it stopped. So, speaking to a lot of y'all, I know a lot of y'all are not going to run this if you can't run any background. Do I have an extra phone? Yeah, but I don't know. So yeah, I'm burnt out. I'm DePin burnt out right now. Like, do I really feel like messing with it? No. What are we really expecting to get from this? I don't know. But I guess we'll see. Checking CapturGO's Discord. Jesus, I'm sorry, guys. Again, it's 1:30 in the morning. You have to migrate from version 1 to version 2 only if you are a version 1 user. So, migration cutoff date was February 14th. So, if you haven't migrated, I'm sorry. I don't see what the rush was, but it is what it is. It's their project. Migration's been closed. I don't see anything really about what's going on with no background. And nobody's really talking about it in the Discord. So apparently I'm the only one concerned with it. How about that? Combiner, there's nothing on Combiner at all. Nothing at all. So, hey, I don't know what to tell you. I'll fix my chair and raise it up a little bit. So, I don't know. I don't know what to tell, what to say about everything. Had some, like as if I have some magic words of wisdom. What to do with crypto? I don't know. I've been in crypto now for 11 years. I'm thinking, here we go again. Here comes another bear market. But on the positive side, I don't have to watch my Exodus wallet go down 90% when it never went up after the last bear market. We looked at a couple of different tokens that kind of did go up, and maybe Tech Hustler was right, and he said we missed alt season, and we all laughed at him. In my live laughing at him, and maybe the man was right months ago when he said we missed the alt season. And you do look at some of these tokens that went up a pretty good percentage, not as much as the last alt season, but we're gonna need a lot to turn it around. Can it happen? Sure. Eventually you're gonna at some point quit playing with tariffs and quit playing with threatening whatever the hell's causing it. I don't want to make this a political thing at all, but we all have to be adults here and agree that Trump makes some stupid comments. It hurts crypto. I mean, the facts are there. We can call it politics, no more politics or anything, but the facts are there. And we also know that if he sat here tomorrow and made a comment benefiting crypto, that the United States was going to start storing more crypto and reserves or doing something like that, crypto would go up. Let's be honest. So I don't know. I think that at some point the economy's got to get better. You need to get better, because I think the next election we could go through all this again. I don't know. Again, I don't have no magic words. I wish I did. It's funny that when people want crypto to go down so they can accumulate more, and when we go down, they're too scared to touch it. If I had more money, I'll be buying crypto. That's me. That's my plan. That's not financial advice for y'all, because it could still drop another 25, 30%. You could have Bitcoin back in the 50s by the end of this week. And we all know that Bitcoin could be in the 80s at the end of the week. That's the craziness of it. So I guess if you're in a project, you just keep chugging along, you keep accumulating, whether or not you immediately cash out those tokens and buy something like Solana that, has some good projects behind it, or Bitcoin or Ethereum, and you just stack it into that, or you look at some of these projects and say, some of these project tokens are so low, you might make more holding them. I don't know. It's for y'all to make those decisions, because it seems like I always make the wrong one. So some projects I've sold, put it into Solana. Some projects I held on to. See, I can't help. Either way, Tuesdays and Thursdays, we'll be back with our lives, 7 p.m. My daughter is starting senior year softball. I will tell y'all that comes first. So, when she's got a game on a Monday evening, this video might not make it. If she has a game on a Tuesday or Thursday, I'm probably not going to make a live. I'm not missing her senior year of softball. It'll be her last time she plays softball. She's been playing since she was 4 years old. Here's what it is. Family first. Y'all know that's been my motto here. That's my motto for y'all and everybody else. Family first. So that's it. No more rambling. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I still got to edit this. And probably with me being off, technically today now, for Fat Tuesday for Mardi Gras, normally I go down to New Orleans and I help out with some different drone stuff. We're not doing that this year. Been scaled back a lot. Got my own comments on that this is definitely not the place for that. But so I'll probably wake up early, watch some Me TV cartoons and some westerns and some riflemen and stuff, and then come in here, finish editing this video, and release it during the day on Tuesday. So happy Mardi Gras to everybody. And when I wake up in the morning, if they got some good video going or some parades, I might put a little bit of parade in here for you, because if this video is already long enough, what the hell does it matter if I add 5 minutes of parade stuff for y'all?
For Miss Yvonne. So it's so funny how things come full circle on Mardi Gras Day, especially out here on Frenchman Street. Reporting live, Gabby Kill at Fox 8, Local First.
All right, thank you very much, Gabby, over there at Frenchman Street. And Frenchman and Bourbon in a few hours are going to get pretty wild and crazy. And, of course, at midnight, 24/7.
That's your official forecast.
It's wild, yes. Speaking of wild, we're going to take a quick break. Mardi Gras 2026 on Fox 8. It is 26, John. We'll be back right after this.
Up in big numbers for Lundi Gras, and this is a really big deal. It's really a precursor to all the fun that everybody's going to have with their family and friends tomorrow. And of course, Mardi Gras draws people from all over the country and world. We spoke with Monica Thomas from California and her sister Stacy Thomas from Atlanta. They were also here with their little sister, and they said they're just having a ball in New Orleans.
Happy Mardi Gras to y'all, and see y'all on the live tonight.